Company secretary can play an important leadership role in an organization. But how can this be achieved when company secretaries normally carry out their work in the background? They often do not occupy roles that place them in the limelight, unlike the chief executive officer who leads the management of the organization, or the board chair who is a leader among equals, who is a leader of the board of directors. Hi, my name is Jimmy Walavyechi, and you're welcome to Corporate Governance Africa, where we seek to promote good governance through film. The late Professor Andrew Kakabatse described the company secretary as the invisible power behind the throne. He made this observation when examining the quiet and yet significant influence that company secretaries have in shaping the governance within organizations. In this video, we explore 5 important ways in which a company secretary can exercise leadership, not through authority or visibility, but through influence, integrity, and their insight. I spoke to Mr. Max Manzi, a leading governance professional from Uganda. I asked him about how a company secretary can play a role as a leader in an organization. He shared 5 ways in which a company secretary can be a leader. First, he points out that although a company secretary works in the background, they still occupy a senior position in the organization. It is from this starting point that he briefly outlines 5 ways in which a company secretary can be a leader in their organization. Here is Max as he briefly describes 5 ways in which a company secretary can play their role as a leader in the governance of an organization.
Role as a leader in the organization, of course, to emphasize that as a COSEC, while most of the times really you are not a member of the board, you occupy a significant executive position, and that unique position enables you as a COSEC to drive corporate governance excellence. So in terms of demonstration of leadership, I would say one is championing good governance practices, because as a CS, you have to ensure that the organization adheres the highest standards of governance. You facilitate board effectiveness, you ensure compliance with legal and regulatory requirements, and by embedding governance frameworks, such as the codes of conduct, the board charters, the committee structures. Then as a COSEC, you lead by example, you promote accountability, ethical behavior and transparency, and that builds credibility with shareholders, with regulators, and other stakeholders. And the other way of providing leadership is giving that strategic counsel, because you're a trusted advisor to the board and senior management. So you're offering insights and advice on governance, on compliance, and risk management, and strategic initiatives. So when you offer well-informed, impartial guidance, then as a COSEC, you will help to drive strategic decision-making that ensures all decisions align with organization's goals and regulatory expectations. As a leader, you're also facilitating effective board meetings in terms of responsibility for preparation, coordination, and documentation of board and committee meetings, so to ensure that these meetings are effective and productive. And once you facilitate meaningful discussions, then you've captured key decisions of the board, you ensure that you're following up on resolutions. Then as a COSEC, as a leader, you're now leading in creating a high-performing and cohesive board. And you're also a guardian of ethical conduct as a leader, because you're a guardian of the company's ethical culture, promoting integrity, promoting ethical behavior. So you develop, you reinforce codes of ethics, conflict of interest policies, whistleblowing mechanisms. Then as a COSEC, you're able to set a tone of ethical leadership from the top down. But also you take the lead in addressing ethical breaches within the board, so that you provide that candid, impartial advice to ensure that ethical standards are upheld and corrective measures are taken. The other bit would be about driving organizational change and innovation. As a COSEG, you find you're at the forefront of leading or supporting strategic initiatives. It could be at the point of corporate restructuring. It could be sustainability, ESG now that we are talking about. So as you contribute to or spearhead change initiatives, then as a COSEC, you demonstrate adaptability, you demonstrate forward-thinking leadership, you align the organization with evolving regulatory, market, or societal expectations. Now, that's what I would say from the leadership point of view.
From what Max has shared, it is clear that a company secretary occupies a truly important position within an organization. Although the role often functions in the background, it carries significant influence on how governance in an organization is practiced. The company secretary helps the board to make better decisions, but the company secretary does not seek to usurp the authority and functions of the board or the management. The company secretary does not have to be seen. Their leadership is often quiet, it is steady, but it's very deeply influential. Maybe that is where the company secretary's true power lies, leading behind the scenes while shaping the heartbeat of the governance of the entire organization. So as you reflect on your own organization, think about how this quiet form of leadership is practiced, how it is supported, and how it is valued within your organization. As a company secretary, in what situations have you used your position to influence the board's decisions or direction? And as a board member, do you recognize and support the company secretary as a leader in promoting ethics and good governance? Thank you for watching Corporate Governance Africa. Please subscribe to Corporate Governance Africa on our YouTube channel and also on our website.